إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة دلالة، وكل دلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد. My brothers and sisters, in our today's khutbah, we shall highlight something which is extremely important for success of any community. My brothers and sisters, in our today's khutbah, we shall highlight something which is destroying our communities, and speaking of which, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah Azza wa Jal, He's addressing every single one of us. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ijtanibu kathiran min adh-dhann inna ba'da dhann ithmun. Allah Azza wa Jal said, O you who believe, O those of you who say Iman has entered our heart, avoid much suspicion, for verily, ba'da dhann ithmun, much suspicion is a great sin. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْدُكُمْ بَعْدًا أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ تَوَّابٌ رَحِيمٌ. My brothers and sisters, speaking of this great sin, speaking of which is destroying our communities, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, and do not spy on each other, and don't backbite each other, don't speak ill of each other. Would you love to eat flesh of your dead brother? فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. Verily, you will despise it. Verily, you will detest it. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, and have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allah tawwabur rahim. Verily Allah Azza wa Jal, He accepts the tawbah of those who return to Him, and He's all merciful. Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he said, speaking ill of others is of three types. وَكُلُّهَا فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ, and Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned this in His book. He said, number one, al-ghibah, is to backbite. Number two, al-ifk, and that is to defame others. Wal-buhtan, and that is to slander others. He said, فَأَمَّا الْغِيبَةُ فَهُوَ أَن تَقُولَ فِي أَخِيكَ مَا هُوَ فِيهِ وَأَمَّا الْإِفْكُ فَأَن تَقُولَ مَا فِيهِ مَا بَلَغَكَ عَنْهُ وَأَمَّا الْبُهْتَانُ فَأَن تَقُولَ فِيهِ مَا لَيْسَ فِيهِ. He said to backbite is to say about your brother to speak of the bad qualities of your brother, what he has in him, or what she has in her, in your sister. وَأَمَّا الْإِفْكُ, and as for defamation, that is to spread to others what you heard of your brother or your sister. وَأَمَّا الْبُحْتَانِ, and as for slandering, that is to say about your brother or your sister what is not in them. And Abu Bakr al-Jurjani, rahimahullah, he said, Al-ghiba dhikru masavi al-insan allati fihi fi ghaibatihi. Wal-buhtan dhikru masavi al-insan wa hiya laysat fihi. Abu Bakr al-Jurjani, rahimahullah, he said, to backbite is to mention or to speak of the bad qualities of your brother in his absence, or to speak of the bad qualities of your sisters which is not in her. And to buhtan is to mention of the bad qualities of your brother or of your sister what is not in him or her. My brothers and sisters, and Qatada rahimahullah, he said, كما يمتنع أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا كذلك يجب أن يمتنع عن غيبته أحد. Qatada rahimahullah, he said, just like you would detest and you would hate and you would despise to eat the flesh of your dead brother. My brothers and sisters, look at the example Allah Azza wa Jal gave. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless every single one of you. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you all and your family members and your relatives and your beloved ones, give them all good health. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us all a good ending upon al-Iman. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us all to enter into Jannat al-Firdaus al-A'la. My brothers and sisters, imagine your brother's dead body is in front of you. And ask Allah to give you and your brother a long, happy, healthy life. But we all have to die one day. My brothers and sisters, look how Allah Azza wa Jal, He informs us of the greatness and the evil of this great sin. Imagine your own blood brother who you love very much. His dead body is in front of you. And then you jump on that body in front of everyone and you start eating it. A'udhu billah. Allah Azza wa Jal, my brothers and sisters, He gave this example to make us understand that is when we speak ill of others. And this is the reason, my brothers and sisters, our communities are not growing stronger, because we backbite each other, because we slander each other, unfortunately. Illa man rahima Rabbi. And looking at these beautiful faces here, Inshallah ta'ala, it is hoped and it is expected of every single one of you that Allah Azza wa Jal has saved you from this great evil. But my brothers and sisters, it is a very serious crime. Qatada rahimahullah, he said, just like you would not want to eat the flesh of your dead brother, the same way you must make sure that you stop yourself and you control yourself to speak evil of your brother and your sister. And Ibn Abi Hatim and Muqatil fi qawlihi وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْدُكُمْ بَعْدَ. And Ibn Abi Hatim, he said, he narrated from Muqatil about the sabab al-nuzul, how this ayah and why this ayah was revealed. He said, نزلت هذه الآية في رجل كان يخدم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said this ayah was revealed because a man who used to serve Rasulullah ﷺ أرسل بعض الصحابة إليه يطلب منه إداما فمنع فقالوا عنه إنه لبخيل فنزلت في ذلك. A person who used to serve Rasulullah ﷺ, so some of the companions, they sent for him and asking him for some food, and he said he doesn't have it or he didn't give them the food. So they said to each other, look, he is very bakhil. He's very stingy. He doesn't give what he should give when he is asked. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed this ayah because the only thing they said about him in his absence, that he is bakhil, that he's a stingy person. My brothers and sisters, if you truly want to know the beauty of Islam, how Islam wants us to have a beautiful, thriving community, look at this hadith of Rasulullah alayhi sallam. And Abi Musa radiallahu ta'ala an, قال قلت يا رسول الله أي المسلمين أفضل. He asked Rasulullah, "Oh Rasulullah, which one of us is the best Muslim?" My brothers and sisters, if you are striving, and I know of you that every single one of us is striving to become a good Muslim, then Rasulullah alayhi sallam, he tells us in this hadith, he said, if you truly want to know who is the best Muslim, man salim al-muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. The best Muslim is the one from whom his Muslim brother is safe. Is safe by his lisan and by his hand. Meaning they are safe from his talking evil of the other brothers, or striking him with his hand. And today, my brothers and sisters, we see how easy it is on our tongues to speak bad of our brothers and sisters, to the point, forget about speaking bad, we don't control ourselves and our angers when it comes to hitting our brothers. We don't control ourselves when it comes to even making our brothers and sisters suffer. Or even to the point, as we have seen in many parts of the world, Muslims fighting each other, killing each other. This is the deen of Allah, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, we don't have much time to go over in detail about this. But here is the hadith of Rasulullah alayhi salam. When he passed by a grave and he said, who are in these graves? إِنَّهُمَا لَيُعَذِّبَانِ وَمَا يُعَذِّبَانِ مِنْ كَبِيرٍ. He passed by two graves and he said, who are in these two graves? For verily they are being tortured right now. And those things for which they are being punished, for which they are being tortured, in reality, they could have saved themselves. It would have been easier for them to save themselves from that. قَالَ بَلَا مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا فَكَانَ يَسْعَى بِالنَّمِيمَةِ. He said, one of them, or one of those two things, is that the يَسْعَى بِالنَّمِيمَةِ. He used to slander and backbite his brother or his sister. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the tawfiq. My brothers and sisters, عن سفيان بن عبد الله الثقفي قال قلت يا رسول الله حدثني بأمر أعتصم به قال قل ربي الله ثم استقم قلت يا رسول الله ما أخوف ما تخاف علي فأخذ بلسان نفسه ثم قال هذا. Sufyan ibn Abdullah al-Thaqafi radiyallahu ta'ala, he said, I asked Rasulullah alayhi salam, how can I protect myself? How can I protect myself? He said, Qul Rabbi Allah. Say, Allah is my Rabb. And then stand firm on it. And then he said to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, what do you fear for me the most? And then Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he held his blessed tongue with his own hands. He said, watch your tongue. Be careful. Watch your tongue. My brothers and sisters, we must understand, my brothers and sisters, that this is a serious crime and we must save ourselves from it. And if we don't save ourselves from it, there are some serious consequences for it. But also I want to make sure, and I make it very clear to you, that there are some exceptions when it comes to speaking evil or warning against others. And from among those exceptions is to speak and to warn against the people of the bid'ah. Those who are spreading falsehood, they are exempt. And there is exception for that. Because we must warn against those who are not upon Quran and the Sunnah. And that does not fall in the category of the ghiba. And we can, inshallah, in one of the future khutbahs, mention these exceptions in detail, inshallah, because we don't have much time. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the tawfiq. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. My brothers and sisters, let me inform you of something incredible which happened today with every single one of you. Yes, my brothers and sisters, it happened this morning to all of us, and it happens every morning. Yes, my brothers and sisters, all of our limbs and organs had a meeting with our tongue. And it happens every day, as Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he mentioned in the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He said, إِذَا أَصْبَحَ ابْنِ آدَمَ فَإِنَّ الْأَعْدَاءَ كُلَّهَا تُكَفِّرُ اللِّسَانَ فَتَقُولُ اتَّقِ اللَّهَ فِينَا فَإِنَّمَا نَحْنُ بِكَ فَإِنْ اسْتَقَمْتَ اسْتَقَمْنَا وَإِنْ أَعْوَجَجْتَ أَعْوَجَجْنَا. In this hadith, we see, my brothers and sisters, every day, all of our limbs and bodily parts, they have a meeting every morning with our tongue. And they humble themselves to the tongue, and they speak to the tongue, and they said, Ittaqillah, have fear of Allah, and control yourself. For verily, if you are controlled, then everything of us will be controlled and we will be good. But if you are crooked, then all of the body parts will also be crooked. My brothers and sisters, this is something of which we are informed by Rasulullah alayhi salam. When he mentioned, when he narrated to us and informed us, who are the bankrupt among us? Who are the most poor among us? Bankruptcy and being poor is not defined by anyone but our Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, Atadruna mal muflis? Do you know in reality who the true bankrupt, extreme poor person? Qalu al-muflisu fina man la dirham wa la mata'. The bankrupt and the extreme poor among us is the one who has no wealth among us and who doesn't possess anything. He said, no. Innal muflisa min ummati يأتي يوم القيامة بصلاة وصيام وزكاة ويأتي قد شتم هذا وقذف هذا وأكل مال هذا وسفك دم هذا وضرب هذا فيؤتى هذا من حسناته وهذا من حسناته فإن فنيت حسناته قبل أن يقدم عليه أخذ من خطاياهم فترهت عليه ثم ترها في النار. But Rasulullah alayhi wasallam, he said, but in reality, that's what you think. You think that the poor and bankrupt person among you is the one who does not possess any wealth. But in reality, a bankrupt person from my ummah is the one who comes in Yawm al-Qiyamah. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, you work so hard for your prayers. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, you wake up in the morning and you pray Fajr. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, you work so hard and you do the good deeds. But in Yawm al-Qiyamah, person comes. He has salah with him. He has zakah with him. And he has many good deeds, loaded with the good deeds. But he's backbited that person and that person. And he slandered this person or that person. And he took the money of this person and that person. And he wronged this person and that person. Therefore, all of the good deeds will be taken from him. And it will be given to the person who he backbited or who he or she wronged. And if all of his good deeds are gone, imagine loads of your good deeds, mountains of your good deeds, and they just vanish like this. Because you backbited your own brother. You backbited and slandered your brothers in Islam or your sisters in Islam, and then all of your good deeds are taken. And then Once they finish, your good deeds are finished, then you will be loaded with the sins of those who you backbited. Subhanallah, my brothers and sisters, fear Allah Azza wa Jal, how easy it has become on our tongue to speak of our brothers and sisters and then say, don't tell him or her. Subhanallah. Fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Don't you know that Allah is watching you? Allah Azza wa Jal, who hears all. Don't you know that you will soon stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? My brothers and sisters, let us busy ourselves with our own deeds and actions. Let us understand the danger of this major sin. Be careful. Be careful when you talk about others. So and so sleep too much. So and so talks too much. So and so is very stingy. So and so is short. Even describing your brother and sister in this manner to belittle others is prohibited. Yes, my brothers and sisters. It is also prohibited, as we know from the hadith of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala an, when she said something about Safiya radiallahu ta'ala an, that she is short. Rasulullah alayhi salatu, he said, لَقَدْ قُلْتِ كَلِمَةً لَوْ مُزِّجَتْ بِمَاءِ الْبَحْرِ لَمَزَجْتُ. Subhanallah. Just describing your sister or brother to belittle them or to speak like this about them, Rasulullah alayhi salatu, he said, you have said something. If it was to be with the water, with the ocean, all of the ocean, if it was to be mixed with the ocean, it will destroy all of the ocean. Subhanallah. It will pollute and contaminate the whole ocean. My brothers and sisters, Hatim al-Asam, he said, لو أن صاحب خير جلس إليك لكنت تتحرز منه وكلامك يعرض على الله ولا تتحرز منه. He said, if someone of status was to sit with you, someone who is known and someone who is respected was to sit with you, you would not speak of bad things in front of that person. But your statements are being presented to Allah Jalla Jalaluhu wa Azza Sha'nu, and you don't control yourself, and you don't withhold yourself. Yahya ibn Abi Kathir rahimahullah, he said, يفسد النمام والكذاب في ساعة ما لا يفسد الساحر في السنة. Yahya ibn Abi Kathir, he said, what the one who backbites and the one who slanders, what he destroys in 1 hour, even a magician cannot destroy in his entire life. So, or in the whole year. What a magician can destroy, a sahir, the one with the black magic and all those, they cannot destroy in 1 year what a slanderer or the backbiter destroys in 1 hour. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the tawfiq. My brothers and sisters, من ذب عن عرض أخيه بالغيبة كان حقا على الله أن يعتقه من النار. Whoever defends his brother or his sister, whoever defends his brother and sisters from the backbiting, كان حقا على Allah. If Allah Azza wa Jal would defend that person, and Allah Azza wa Jal will protect that person, and Allah Azza wa Jal would save that person from the hellfire. My brothers and sisters, this is the beauty of Al-Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal, He wants us to lay down strong foundation of brotherhood. This ummah is about coming together, staying united, and establish communities upon love and harmony for each other. No hatred, no lying, no backbiting. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, how beautiful and peaceful our community will be if there was no one backbiting each other. Imagine, just imagine that beautiful and lovely state of the ummah where everyone loves each other. Look how beautiful our religion is. It has given us the recipe to build strong brotherhood and ways to establish harmony and grow in love for each other. Let us not go too far. We don't have to imagine the entire ummah united. Just imagine if within our own community, this beautiful and blessed community of Masjid Ahl al-Qur'ani wa Sunnah. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, if our own community, our families, our household, if there was no one backbiting each other and everyone loving each other, no stress, and everyone would be living happy life. So why are we depriving ourselves this beautiful environment, my brothers and sisters? Let us promise today, right now, that we will go to those who we have wronged and ask for their forgiveness. Invite them for lunch or dinner or coffee and hug them and hold their hand in your hand and seek their forgiveness after the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we are going to continue with this grave sin, then there are some strong warnings, my brothers and sisters. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, those who continue to backbite, those who continue to slander, he said, La yadkhulul jannatu namam. The one who backbite, the one who slander would not enter into Jannah. Would not enter into Jannah. And Al-Bayhaqi, he mentions from Awza'i, he said, Balagani annahu yuqalu lil-abdi yawm al-qiyamah, قم فخذ حقك من فلان فيقول ما لي قبله حق فيقال بلى ذكرك يوم كذا وكذا بكذا وكذا. And Al-Awza'i, he mentioned that it has been narrated that in Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah Azza wa Jal would say to such and such person, get up and go and get your rights. Get your rights. Take your rights. Take your right from that so and so person. And that person would say, oh Allah, but I have no rights to take from him. That person, I don't know of anything I have to take from him. And then it will be informed and will be said to him, no, you have something from him. He has to give you because he mentioned to you on such and such day with such and such thing. My brothers and sisters, and with this we end. Al-Hasan al-Basri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu wa rahimahullah, he said, Wallahi al-ghibatu asra'u fi deen al-mu'min min al-akalati fi jasadi. He said, verily, backbiting destroys the religion of a person. Backbiting and slandering your brother destroys your own religion, destroys your iman, more than the deadly disease destroys the body. Subhanallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the tawfiq. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the rahmah. We ask Allah azza wa jalla jalaluhu wa azza sha'nu to allow us to live with our brothers and sisters upon true brotherhood. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us the light, to show us the sweetness of brotherhood so we can love each other for His sake, so that we can establish strong brotherhood within our communities where everyone is loving each other, where everyone has strong love for his own brother and sister, where we do not backbite each other, where we do not speak ill of each other, where we do not speak negatively of each other. And the tawfiq is from Allah alone. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَّمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَنَّ من الخاسرين. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وأقيموا الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر.